I call upon the Prime Minister Netanyahu to address us. We were hesitating whether to call it Trump Tower or Trump Heights. But here in the Golan Heights, we decided on Trump Heights. And we control the heights with a lot of might. And now we added a very important layer with practical significance as well as symbolic significance to continuation of our control of the Golan Heights that will always be a part of the State of Israel. I'm saying it on a festive day in the presence of a great friend of the State of Israel, the ambassador in Israel, David Friedman. Hello, David, and thank you very much. His wife, Tabi, my wife, Sarah, the consultant of Trump, Ilan Kar, and of course the ministers of the government who took this very important historical decision, the head of the regional council, Golan Heights, the heads of councils, past and present, the representatives of the communities, ladies and gentlemen, I really believe this is a very festive moment to be remembered in generation as a mark in the history of the Golan Heights. A lot of years have passed since we established a new community in the Golan Heights, but today it is happening. We are making a very important step towards the establishment of this community, Trump Heights. And it holds with pride the name of a very great friend of the State of Israel, and I'm very proud to say a friend of mine, the President of the States, Donald Trump. President Trump is a great friend of our country, a leader who did things that were never done before and should have been done because of justice and truth. But before anything else, there is a fulfillment of the Zionist dream at its best. The building of the State of Israel is a foundation of our national life. And the Golan, and I'll say it again, and listen very carefully, the Golan was and will be an inseparable part of our land and our country. The Golan is Israeli. And it's important to underscore this again and again. We're not strangers to the Golan. We are in the Golan due to the roots of our nation that have been rooted in the Golan for thousands of years, and you know it very well. The ancient synagogues that are scattered all over the Golan Heights show us about the vibrant Jewish life that took place here during the Mishnah and the Talmud period. And Arya, I'm sure you can even quote some passages, but even before that, we are renovating these wonderful synagogues and we are reviving the heritage of our forefathers. It's not just the synagogues, but it's also Gambla. You can't see this, can you? Two of the inhabitants of Natur village, one is called what? Eliraz, and the other one is called what? Rina. They brought jewelry that they made based on this necklace of a Jewish woman from glass that was found in the ruins of Gamla. It really excites me to the bottom of my heart. We are now fulfilling the decree of generation. Israel is reviving again. The synagogues are reviving again. The people of Israel lives in the Golan. But there's another reason for which the Golan is ours, because it came back to us in a defense war, a justified war, a war where our brave combatants, the wondrous soldiers, they liberated this area 52 years ago. And what was here before, when we did not control it? There was a constant Syrian aggression. During the War of Liberation, the Syrians came from, you know, the tank in the kibbutz Degania, the Syrian tank, they were there, just in the bottom. And after 48, they turned the mountains of the Golan to a fortress. They built bunkers where they fired constantly on our settlements on the bottom. We call the Golan, you don't remember it, but I do. We used to call the Golan the threatening heights. Our enemies used to shell the farmers in the Sea of Galilee and the Hula and the Jordan Valley, and they wanted to deviate their waters. But all this changed in the Six-Day War, through which the Golan was liberated, and the heroism of our combatants. And again, in the Yom Kippur War, when our soldiers and commanders defended the Golan with great sacrifice, we managed to prevail within 3 weeks, and we were at the entrance to Damascus. Because we are here on these hills, because of our deterrence and our force, we are now controlling the Golan Heights. We control it with great force. 21 years the Golan was under Syrian regime as a result of the French mandate, but 52 years is under the control of Israel as a historical right and the right to defend yourself. In these 52 years, we brought new life to the Golan. We fostered the landscape, farming, tourism. What isn't there in the Golan? Ancient synagogues that we are refurbishing in order to foster our heritage. If you haven't seen it yet, you have to go. And just to imagine, you can actually hear our forefathers praying, talking over there. Yes, you're right, it's over there. Yuval, don't compete with me in that. It's not worth it, because I know it in the dark. Maybe during the day you can be over it. We have great water, pure air, wonderful fruit, perfect wine, and perfect people. Thanks to the presence we have in the Golan, we now have quiet and stability in this region. And again, it is proven that Israel is a strategic asset to many countries in the Middle East. We all know what is happening in the last decade here, just around the border. And had we not been here, militias of Iran would have been here. We're not going to let it happen, ever. We are going to continue to act all the time against the attempts of Iran and its annex, the Hezbollah, to base itself beyond the border or in Syria altogether. We are not lending our throat to the slaughter. On the contrary, time and again, we take away the sword from their hands. And as for the aggression of Iran in the Oman Gulf, all these peace-seeking states should support the effort of the United States and President Trump to stop this dangerous aggression and to ensure the freedom of navigation in international waters. My friends, the resolution of the President Trump to recognize the Golan Heights is a sober decision. This is an irreversible reality. President Trump proves his sound support of our stand against the Iranian threat, and in his decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and transferring the embassy to Jerusalem, and also the ambassador himself to Jerusalem, and recognizing our sovereignty on the Golan. For 52 years, the leaders of the world refused to recognize the historic and political fact that the Golan has to remain in the hands of Israel as part of the State of Israel. Until President Trump came along, and he said the self-evident. And I quoted Menachem Begin beforehand, his government, when they passed the Golan Heights in 1988 law. He said that even the self-evident should be said. I'm sure that Trump Heights will give new momentum to the developing of the Golan, and I was very happy to hear about the great interest of young families who want to come and make their future in this place. We are going to continue to invest invest so that this area and the Golan in general is going to blossom with occupation, with transportation, education, culture. And we are doing it for all the inhabitants, Jews and non-Jews alike, among them our brothers, the Druze. May you be blessed. We are going to attract thousands and tens of thousands to the Golan who will turn this basalt soil to a blooming garden. And the Golan is going to go to new heights. Mazel tov to Trump Heights. Happy holidays to the Golan Heights. And thank you all. I call upon the ambassador of the United States to Israel, Mr. David Friedman, to address us.
Thank you so much. On behalf of President Donald Trump, on behalf of all the people of the United States of America, I express our heartfelt gratitude to Prime Minister Netanyahu and Sarah Netanyahu, to the members of the cabinet who came here today for this historic cabinet meeting. It was my first cabinet meeting. It was not anywhere near as dramatic as I thought it might be. Everybody agreed. It was unanimous. Very good to see. Our gratitude to the residents of the Golan, some of whom were here, to the people of Israel, including the members of the Druze community who are so actively living and working in Ramat Golan in the Golan Heights. Our gratitude to all of you for this historic dedication of an entire village in the name of President Donald Trump. We all checked the history books. I'm probably not the only one. It almost never happens anywhere in the world that a community, an entire community, is dedicated in the name of a sitting president. It's happened only, I think, 3 or 4 times, to my knowledge, anywhere in the world. It happened once before in the state of Israel in 1949 when Kfar Truman was dedicated. So since 1949 now to 2019, if my math is right, that's 70 years. And I think President Trump will be honored to be in that small cadre of heroes, of Israeli heroes, of Harry Truman and Donald Trump. I think they belong together, and I think they will always be known as the 2 greatest presidents for the state of Israel. And I might be a little bit biased if I would say I think mine is just a little bit better, but they're both pretty good. As some of you may not know, many of you may not know, 2 days ago, President Trump celebrated his birthday. And I can't think of a more appropriate and a more beautiful birthday present to present to him than Ramat Trump, than Trump Heights. It is it is absolutely beautiful. As you can tell, the air here is, as the Prime Minister said, the air here is pure. The air here is beautiful. The sunshine is glorious. The views are spectacular. My only regret is that neither the President nor I are in the real estate business anymore, because if we were, I'm sure this would be high on our list for places that we would think about.